Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. We've got people here from right across Canada, and we are so thrilled to launch the e-mentoring platform today. So welcome. I am Tracy Luca-Huger. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives of Mentor Canada. And so we're going to get started. I am going to just let you know that, of course, 10 minutes before we were starting, my electricity and internet went out. So I am tethering right now. Should something happen with my connection, Michelle Montero will continue on with the presentation and support the rest of the PowerPoint. So she's going to drive that. Just in case I have some technical difficulties. So welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. Michelle, can you move to the next slide, please? Thanks so much. We'd like to start, first of all, with a land acknowledgement. This is very important to us at Mentor Canada. We are very much focused on truth and reconciliation and engaging and recognizing our Indigenous fellow citizens in our journey as far as connecting young people to mentors. So Mentor Canada respectfully acknowledges that the lands upon which we operate are the traditional territories of the respective First Nations, Métis Nations, and Inuit, who are the longtime stewards of these lands. So thank you for just taking a moment and recognizing the lands to which we live, work, and play on. Next slide, Michelle, thanks. So as I shared, I am Tracy Luca-Huger with Mentor Canada. My colleague, Michelle Montero, is the training specialist for any of the organizations and programs that will choose to onboard and be engaged with the e-mentoring platform. Michelle will be your go-to. She is our subject matter expert, and she will onboard every organization and program live. And my other colleague is Adrian Katz, the Senior Director of Information Systems. He'll be joining us today as well and sharing details about the platform. So what do we have in store for you today? We want to give you an overview of why the e-mentoring platform, what the key features will be for the platform, the training and support that Mentor Canada has built in to the platform and as a resource to help you build capacity and to ensure that you are well-versed, well-trained, and well-supported to deploy and use this system. We will highlight some of the security features. We know that that will be important for you as service providers to understand that it is a safe and secure system. How to access the e-mentoring platform, what our deployment timelines and onboarding are, what that plan is and what the timelines are for that, and then answer some questions and next steps. So welcome, everybody. And we're gonna go to the next slide, Michelle, thanks. So Mentor Canada, for those of you that are new to our world and to our family, Mentor Canada is a coalition of organizations that are coming together to build sector capacity through research, technology, partnerships, and communications. The goal is to empower every young person to fulfill their potential, to increase mentoring opportunities throughout this country, and to raise the profile of mentoring. We are not a direct service organization. Our whole state of being is to support service providers like yourself and to ensure that we are supporting you to build capacity to not only engage more young people and mentors into mentoring programs and into mentoring, but also to further provide and co-create tools and resources to help with your work in delivering quality mentoring programs and quality mentoring initiatives for young people throughout Canada. So welcome, everybody. Next slide, Michelle, thanks. So why an e-mentoring platform? Over a year and a half ago, Mentor Canada embarked on a journey to explore technology. We know that a year ago, the pandemic hit, and certainly our role and our goal and our focus around looking at technological resources to support mentoring service providers came to the forefront. And so with that, we knew that service providers across our country needed a valuable, fulsome tool in order to continue to deliver services virtually, but also to enhance the delivery of mentoring programs through an e-mentoring platform. And so when we launched a webinar last March, we invited stakeholders and service providers to join us in a working group to start to explore an e-mentoring platform. And so over the course of the last year, we have engaged 28 service providers to help us to identify a platform, but also to really look at the core features and functionality that would be key to deliver quality mentoring programs for young people across this country. And so I just wanted to have a shout out to those organizations. I know a few are on the call today as well in our working group that have really co-created, co-determined, and really helped to guide the functionality and the priorities around an e-mentoring platform. What was also priority for us at Mentor Canada is that we identified a low cost or no direct fee platform for Canadian service providers. And so at this point in time, until March 2022, Mentor Canada has funding to support an e-mentoring platform for service providers. So there will be no direct fee for service providers that choose to use and onboard the e-mentoring platform through Mentor Canada. It was also really critical that we found a friendly solution to deliver and engage in mentoring, not only from a user interface, but also from an administrator. That was really important, that the user experience, both mentors and mentees, had a platform that was easy to navigate, but also engaging for their mentoring experience for the duration of their mentoring relationships. It was key for us in that we heard from the sector that program administrators had the ability to ensure that there was safety in their programs, to be able to have oversight and overall management of mentoring programs using that type of technology. That it was accessible, again, easily accessible, not a complex system, that it had flexible communication. And we certainly know during the pandemic, lots of organizations have used Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, those types of technology bases. So that was really important, that not only mentors and mentees could connect through text-based messaging and through video, but also through audio capabilities. And so a platform needed to be really fulsome in order to allow for those young people and mentors to meet, but also for programs to interface with them. That it needed to be truly a platform that was adaptable based on the various diverse programs across this country, to pay attention closely to the context, the size, and the scope of mentoring programs. And keep in mind that this platform really will be able to tailor to the needs of programs, but also your context. All the way up to and inclusive for us at Mentor Canada to young people the age of 30. So that's very important, that it wasn't a program that we delivered, that it really was a platform in which you could build your programs off of. Critical for us as well as a national initiative, that the platform would be available in both French and English. And that's what we have today. So both users and administrators can use the platform in full French language or English. And that it was accessible, right? That it had some accessibility features. And so the platform that we have identified also has screen reader. So we know that some of our young people may struggle with disabilities and needing some accessibility, as well as your mentors and your program staff. So that was key for us. And so meeting these core key areas, we searched globally for platforms and looked at e-mentoring solutions. And really where we've landed today is really one of the best that we've been able to identify, that could also be cost effective and be brought to Canada in a bilingual platform and through a bilingual application. So without further ado, I think we're ready to share with you. So where we have landed today is we're announcing that we have entered into an agreement with MentorCity. MentorCity is a Canadian-owned, Canadian-based e-mentoring solution, an e-mentoring platform. It has a whole host of history and users already in that system. So we are not piloting. We're using and integrating a system that has many years of proven functionality and lots of testing behind it. So it has stability. It has a really strong interface. And so we're really, really thrilled to announce that we've entered into an agreement with MentorCity, and we'll deploy this for the sector for each of you that are on the call and for mentoring service organizations across our country. Next slide, Michelle. So we want to walk through some of the platform features. We know that you will have a whole host of questions around what does this really mean? What can it do for my program? What would that user experience be like? What are the security features to ensure that our mentees are safe? But also we know that many of you are working in partnership and collaboration with school boards, that you're also working in partnership with child and family services. And so we want to make sure that we highlight that where we've landed on MentorCity, and this platform is a safe, secure platform for you to manage your programs, but also for young people to engage with mentors. Next slide, Michelle. So the mentor and mentee features, it allows for one-to-one matching and group matching. So that means one mentor to many young people. So like a 1-to-4 or 1-to-8 ratio, a 1-to-20 ratio, and then many mentors to many mentees. So you could, in the framework of team mentoring, you could have several mentors mentoring several young people as well. There's no limit on the capability of this or the functionality. So really it is about your programs and how you've designed them and being able to match them up through those ratios. It also has a youth-initiated matching capability and option where young people then could select potential mentors for themselves based on criteria and matching criteria that they will identify in their portfolio as well as in the platform. So it has that functionality as well. Really exciting. We know that some programs really focus where youth will identify their own mentors, certainly for organizations and programs that are 18 plus in age. And so this has been a really great feature that we'll be able to bring to the sector. Next slide, Michelle. And so other features. So this is a caption of the dashboard. So when mentors and mentees log into the system, this is what their dashboard would look like. They will have their own personal dashboard that they would be able to see who they're matched to. If it's more than one mentor, or from a mentor perspective, they're matched to more than one mentee, they would be able to see the list of who their mentees are or the list of who their mentors are. They would be able to see curriculum, events that are coming up, and then also send a message and starts that engagement. A really nice, clean, easy to navigate dashboard for those young people and for mentors to engage in mentoring. Next slide, Michelle. Key for us as well was that communication piece. Mentors and mentees can communicate via audio, via video, and text-based messaging, right? So through chat. All three of these features were really critical for us as well. We know that individuals are on the go, but we also know that young people are engaging in more text-based messaging. So it really does allow for that flexibility based on need, but also setting an environment for young people and for mentors. Next slide, Michelle. So a few other key features that we've been able to identify and that MentorCity offers. Mentors and mentees can share their screen. They can share files while they're meeting, while they're in video. So very similar to a Zoom function, you'll be able to share a screen, but also upload and share files, documents, resources, photos. That functionality exists when mentors and mentees are communicating and when they're meeting. Calendaring functioning. So that's very critical. Mentors and mentees will be able to set meetings. They will be able to see upcoming events, but they will also get push notifications on those. So if a meeting has been changed, if a new event has been scheduled by an organization, or if a meeting has been canceled, they will get a push notification allowing them to see that something has changed within the system or within their calendaring. The system will allow for announcements. So from a program administrator, you would be able to post announcements based on your program to share with both mentors and mentees. Really exciting. So if you have a training or you've got a group event or a community event, you can share those announcements with your constituents right in the platform and they would get a notification. It also has the option for a badge reward system. And so we know many mentoring programs and lots of e-mentoring programs and systems allow for that system to give rewards out. So as they move through curriculum, as they move through months of mentoring, to get rewards and to, at the end, achieve some of the results that you're looking for. But also if you set a bar around, you want programs or you want your mentors and mentees to have a certain number of badges by the end, complete a number of courses or activities, the system would allow for that as well. Thanks, Michelle. Huge addition for this platform is also that there is a resource center. There's a resource center already built in with MentorCity, but you will also be able to populate more resources into that center for mentors and for mentees. Again, evidence-based. MentorCity has been spending a great deal of time looking at the evidence and looking at best practice resources for mentoring relationships. So it comes already built in with the resource center. And then you can also add to it. It has the function as well of discussion boards. So administrators will be able to create and set new discussions with mentors and with mentees. It also has the option that you can allow mentors to start discussions. So we know within the field of mentoring that that ability for mentors to connect with each other is also very, very important. And so your program could allow mentors to start a discussion if you choose to have that option, but absolutely for your organization and a program administrator, you'll be able to create discussion topic areas and discussion boards and moderate them. It also has an Eventbrite interface, which is a wonderful addition. So you will be able to host events and have mentors and mentees sign up for events. And then it would link that registration right into your, it would allow it to link right into the system for yourself. Thanks, Michelle. Other mentor and mentee features, access to courses. Really critical is the content piece. So we know that programs, and certainly during the pandemic, have focused very much on what are the activities that mentors and mentees can continue to do. What will allow those mentors and mentees to continue to move forward through the progress of your program to reach those outcomes. So we know that some programs have set curriculum that you want every mentoring relationship to complete, but then you've also got individual mentoring activities that they could use and engage with optionally. So every mentoring program will be able to set your own curriculum if you want, add in curriculum, and add in mentoring activities. Next slide, Michelle. Thank you. So mentor and mentee course content, really critical, as we spoke about. So your program will be able to create specific content. And as you can see, we've given you a sample here of what we've already built into the system. So this is what courses would look like. You can add in images. You will be able to add in your logo, your own colors, so that when a mentor and a mentee log into MentorCity and into the platform, it will look exactly like your organization or your program. And so from a Mentor Canada perspective, what was really important is that we launched every mentor and mentee in the platform consistently, but also effectively. And so we've built in a platform orientation for you that every program will have access to. And this 5-module course will allow mentors and mentees to tour the platform together and engage in activities, do some small quizzes, and explore that the first time they log into the platform together. So every program will have that curriculum already built in, so you won't need to build that. And so we've built it around building up their own portfolio, looking at creating their name, building in their own photo, and then really touring all of the functionality around discussion boards, around using other curriculum, around chat, so that mentors and mentees can be well-oriented. And then, as I said, again, on the bottom there, you'll see a screenshot of courses. So you can have as many courses as you like. If you choose that you really just want to use this as a communication tool for your mentors and mentees, you do not need to add in curriculum or activities. That really is up to you as a program to determine if that's a fit for what type of program you're delivering. Next slide, Michelle. Thanks. Key feature, administrator features. This was critical that we heard from the sector, but also from our working group, that it was imperative that mentoring program administrators were able to see from a dashboard who was engaged in their programs, who was matched, who was not matched, and who was meeting, and what those statistics look like, and to be able to manage their programs from this hub. So this is a screenshot of what the dashboard initially looks like for an administrator. Has some really great initial stats. You can see relationships, so you can be able to see how many mentoring relationships are within your program, how many invitations you had sent out, the number of members that are engaged, and also then you can join meeting links and look at your matches. To the right are other functions that you would have as a program administrator. So you would be able to look at a speed matching, analytics and reports, customizing your program context, access to surveys that you would build, access to evaluation tools that you would build, discussion boards, announcements, events, languaging filter. A key thing around safety and security is your programs. For your programs, you will be able to set language that would filter. So we know for some of the programs that are dealing with more vulnerable populations and younger mentees, that you might want to filter some language that you would get aware of, and you'd get a notification that that language or that word was being used within a mentoring communication. So you would be able to see that 360 view of your programs. So you will be able to see all communication between your mentors and mentees. You will also be able to join meetings between mentors and mentees. So here is a sample of the reports that you would be able to get. You'd be able to generate full reports on your mentoring program, when mentors and mentees are meeting, frequency of meetings, duration of meetings, number of mentors and mentees that have completed curriculum or courses, full views of reports regarding your surveys, regarding evaluation tools and the results of those. And then a full feature sheet of customization. And so there are absolutely things that you can do out of the box in this platform, but more importantly, it allows for that flexibility for you to customize all of these features and all of the interface that mentors and mentees experience for your program. So you'll be able to allow certain areas and then restrict certain areas for your programs. Next slide, Michelle. Here's a sample of dashboard statistics. So this is, again, system generated. You'll be able to see the number of members within your program, those that are active and those that are inactive. So mentors and mentees that are active in matches and those that are not. Be able to see how the percentage of mentors and mentees that have completed their profiles within the system, the number of invitations that have been sent out and responded to, the number of searches. So you'll be able to see when mentors and mentees are using the platform and using the resources within the system. So you'll be able to see that at a glance, the percentage. What I think is really exciting about that is you'll be able to see the activities you put in the curriculum. You'll be able to see percentage and numbers of matches that are using which curriculum pieces and course curriculum pieces and which ones they're not using. So you can then start to do some deeper dives into either revising, taking a closer look at why your mentors or mentees are not using that curriculum and which ones are having really strong uptake. You'll be able to also see available mentors and mentees for matching, and then the total number of mentors and mentees that are matched within your program. So this is just at a glance. You'll be able to see that statistical data. Next slide, thanks. Program monitoring, really important. We know that some programs are dealing with hundreds of mentors and mentees and matches within your ecosystem. So you will be able to see the percentage of mentees that have created a goal for themselves for their mentoring relationship. And again, data and monitoring on your mentoring relationships, right? The percentage of members who are currently in one or more mentoring relationships, the number that currently have one or more mentors, the number of hours that they're engaging, the percentage of mentor and mentee relationships that have completed the mentoring agreement, the number of program evaluations, meetings, and calls, both video as well as voice calls. So at a glance, you'll be able to see these percentages, and then do a deeper dive into which of those relationships aren't responding and need to still complete pieces of your program, but also to see at a glance how your program is doing from a quality perspective as well. Next slide, Michelle. So as I shared earlier, the matching function is a really exciting one. So this is a sample view of what mentors and mentees would be able to see based on them completing a portfolio. Again, completely customizable on what you would like mentors and mentees to complete as far as criteria that could match up. And so even from a glance, you as a program administrator would be able to manually match, but also then use system generated options for yourself. So in the back end, the system will generate potential matches for you, and then you can accept them or ignore them. You don't have to take them. But when some programs that work on the school year, when you've got hundreds of mentors and mentees wanting to launch and that you're needing to match them, this system can help to support that for you in indicating through specialized skills, development areas and languages and interests around potential matches that would be ideal. And again, youth-initiated mentoring. So based off of the completion of their portfolio, young people would be able to see potential mentors that they can initiate engaging with as their own mentor and engage with them right from the system. I see lots of comments around that exciting stuff, and I completely agree. I think that those are really wonderful features. We know so much of mentoring and the field has been based off of manual matching. And so this really does create a wonderful objective matching system for you to get a glimpse as to why, right? And sometimes you might have missed an opportunity to make a match, and the system will generate those with potentials for you. This is the resource section. Again, a snapshot of what the resource section already built into MentorCity looks like. So articles for mentees, quick references, mentee tips, mentor quizzes for mentors, quick reference guide, mentor roles, formal relationships, again, resources that exist within the field that are already populated. Mentoring conversations, right? So looking at other subject matter experts that MentorCity has included around leadership, around communication, around goal setting. And so you as a program will be able to add new resources, as you can see at the top, and add them to that bank. But also out of the gate, you will have a whole library of resources for your mentors and mentees to access. Thanks, Michelle. This is the discussion board. So we populated two just as an example for you. So one is how to support a mentee transitioning from high school. You can see how many members are in it, the number of comments, you'll be able to moderate that. And then other subject matters around presentation skills, right? And be able to see who's involved and engage your mentors and mentees into group discussions. So the platform really becomes a hub. You are able to email in and out of the system. You're able to upload your program resources, engage in discussions. And so one of the most beautiful opportunities I think that this platform really provides for mentoring as a field is that instead of sending out emails and attaching documents and people needing to check their emails, this really becomes your hub for all of your resource and all of your communication with mentors and mentees. They will get push notifications so they will know. So it's a one-stop shop to manage your program through technology. Next slide. Thanks, Michelle. It is completely mobile app based as well. So mentors and mentees and you as a program administrator can run your program and manage your program directly from your phone or from your device. And so it is app-based for iOS and for Android. So this is what the icon of the app looks like. This is the first screen that you would see when you go into the app. And then the next slide will highlight what mentors and mentees would see visually from their phone experience or from a mobile device experience. So Pearl is engaged as a mentor, and then there is a whole, she'll be able to see her mentee as well. She can send a message, book a meeting, set availability, join a meeting, look at the mentoring agreement as well, view their mentee's profile. You'll see on the left-hand side under Pearl, it also tracks mentoring hours. And so that is a really important feature as well for programs that want to track and have a requirement around the number of hours that mentees or mentors are engaging in for your programs. And so if there are more than one mentees, the mentor will also see the list of mentees. They'll be able to communicate with all of them collectively as a group, but they can also communicate individually with mentees. They will also, the function is that mentees can also communicate with mentees as well as directly just with their mentor and collectively as their group. Next slide. I'm going to hand this over to Michelle now, because Michelle is our training expert, and she is going to guide you through the training and support information, as well as Michelle will be onboarding every organization across our country. So over to you, Michelle.
Hey, thank you. So if you're pumped about the program, I'm sure you have tons of questions on how you can join training. So let's talk about that. So we will be offering a live onboarding session, which include session recordings. There's also a support and training center that's already exists. It will be loaded with administrator user manual, some quick references, some video training, because as you probably know, if you've joined any kind of training before, sometimes it's hard to remember everything that's being learned in a session. So you want to make sure that not only you have a session, but you also have some support post-training, which will be that support and training center that offer manuals and videos. There's also, as Tracy mentioned before, the platform comes with a course already, which is called a platform orientation course designed for mentors and mentees. So to help them navigate the platform, taking a tour in a fun way. It's light, it's not difficult. It's really made for them to get to know each other as they're learning to use the platform. And there's also the support specialist, which we'll introduce a little bit later, which is Tori. And on this, I'm going to pass it on to Adrienne to talk about security.
Hi, everybody. One of the nice things about this platform is that it is, they paid a lot of attention to ensuring that it meets some of the key points for privacy and security within the Canadian context. I believe the slide largely speaks for itself, and there's a security note that we can share with you folks from MentorCity that goes into great detail about the security features and the privacy considerations with the platform. We'll share that out, and unfortunately we don't have it in French just yet, so we'll be translating that shortly. Largely speaking though, I think the key points to consider are encryption. The data is going to be encrypted, or it is encrypted in transit and when it's stored on servers, that the servers are located in Canada, that there's regular vulnerability testing that's performed, and that the data centers undergo regular auditing and compliance testing. There's also, and maybe it's just on my screen, I'm not seeing all the elements here, but yeah, I think that says it all. If there are any specific questions about security or privacy, please post them in the Q&A or in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer them, or just give us a little bit of time to ship out the security note, and you'll be able to review those in detail and share them with any decision makers that may require detailed information about privacy and security in the platform.
Thanks, Adrienne. So burning question, how do you access the e-mentoring platform? And so we're going to get into some detail around that right now for you. Next slide, Michelle. So the first step will be that every organization and program needs to be registered in Mentor Connector through Mentor Canada in order to access the e-mentoring platform. If you have not registered your organization or your program into Connector yet, we will provide you with the pathway and how to do that. There is a complete video and support training center on how to access Mentor Connector. And so you can see that in the link there, and we will also provide that following this meeting as well. I think we've got a sample. So once you're in Mentor Connector, you will see an icon that you will click on, right? That will state request access to the e-mentoring platform, right? So you want to click on that. We will get notification immediately that your program wants to have access to the e-mentoring platform. I put in the chat because this was something that I didn't share earlier, was that organizations can have as many mentoring programs in the e-mentoring platform as they would like. Your organization would need to then also submit and register each of those individual programs into Mentor Connector and then request access to the e-mentoring platform. So that would be the first step for you to get access to the e-mentoring platform. Next step, Michelle. Okay, I'm going to hand this over to Michelle because she is going to speak about the deployment and training opportunities following this session.
Okay. So deployment timeline. So we talked about live sessions being offered. So if you wish to sign up for one of those onboarding sessions, it's going to be available on our website under the events page after this webinar. So you can search for a date that's more convenient for you and sign up for it. So we have dates starting as June 7 until the end of the year. So right now on the events page, you will see that dates are available until the month of August. At the end of the summer, we'll reassess, see how many people are interested, but we are planning on having sessions till the end of the year. Just keep in mind that for those training sessions, they will be limited to 5 organizations per session. However, each organization can invite as many staff as needed. How will the training unfold? So it will be divided in 2 parts because there's a lot of information to learn. So we want to make it as friendly as possible, as so there's retention, so you can retain what you learn. So for the first part will be onboard and customize your organization. So how you can onboard a platform and how you can make it your own with customizing all the fields, customizing it to your brand colors, etc. And then there will be part 2. So part 2 will be managing your program. So using those analytics, those reports, viewing all interaction between mentors and mentees, as well as engaging mentors and mentees. So how will you actually invite them to join the platform? Okay, so part 1 is offered 3 days a week, every other week. And then part 2 will be offered 2 days a week, every other week. And it will alternate with part 1. Okay, so again, you'll see that on the events page when you go to register for one of those or both of them. Okay, so the training sessions are scheduled in 3 hours because training will be interactive. So we want to make it as engaging and interactive as possible so you can remember what you learn as much as possible. So I want you to really try things as we are training, and not only me talking for just an hour straight and then send you home with this. So yeah, that's how training is going to be deployed. And Tracy, I'm going to hand it back to you.
So I know there are lots of questions, so I'm going to start to answer a few of them. I see a few in the chat. So one, just at a glance, regarding the onboarding and the training, is there a limit to the number of staff? No. So that is why we're limiting each session to 5 organizations. each organization then can invite as many staff to be on those calls and into that onboarding as you would like, or that you see as appropriate. So that really is reserving that spot for your organization, and then you can have as many staff on that call as you would like. The training will be 2 days. The training is part one, first of all, the onboarding to get you into the system, and then into a deeper dive around administration functionality. Is that correct, Michelle?
Correct. Yes, it's divided in 2 parts. And basically part 1 will be offered, let's say, 1 week. And then the second week we'll do part 2. And then we'll go back to, another week of part 1, and then another week, part 2. So we're just alternating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no limit. I'm just reading through some of these. Is there a mentor-mentee registration feature? So there is not an application form. What you will do is have mentors and mentees, because it doesn't have that initial feature around screening mentors and mentees, and it doesn't have that application for it. So once you've approved your mentors and mentees, you will send them a link, and then what you will do, they will complete a portfolio. We don't have a cost for the system post 2022 at this point in time. No, please know though that we have funding up until March 2022. That is key for Mentor Canada. We are actively pursuing funding to extend that, so that our goal is that there would be no cost to mentoring service providers in Canada for this system moving forward. But we would keep that, we would keep you abreast to that as we move forward. I'm just reading through some of these. If you're already using MentorCity, and Luke, I know that you just raised that question there. What I would like you to do is to reach out to me following this meeting. We can have a conversation about, for those organizations that are currently paying for MentorCity, and have a further discussion about what that looks like for accessibility. We would engage in that conversation with MentorCity as well. Then coming through our platform through Mentor Connector with Mentor Canada. I am just running through a whole host of questions. We will send you the link through Mentor Connector as well, so that you can register that. If you run into technical support, we've got a full-time support person, Turi. We will give you her information as well at the end that you can reach out to. There was so the program, this platform is web-based, but also app-based. So it is not required that you have to use the app features. It's just another option for everyone. Thanks, Michelle, for putting up the slide. So if you have ongoing questions about the system and about the e-mentoring platform, please contact Turi. Turi is our digital products support lead. She will be happy to answer your questions. And she's going to be your go-to as far as getting access to the system and helping you to troubleshoot if you run into any barriers or confusion around Mentor Connector and how to access. Is there a definition about mentoring programs that go into Connector? Yeah, so they absolutely, young people, it needs to be a youth mentoring program. So young people up to the age of 30, needs to be a Canadian-based mentoring program. And you cannot be charging for your mentoring services. So it needs to be a no-cost program that mentors and mentees access. So tutor mentor absolutely could fit under this. We'll have some further conversation. If you're not sure if your program fits, I would be happy to answer those questions as well. So Lori, just let us know if it doesn't make sense, but 3 core criteria coming out of the gate. It has to be a mentoring program or mentoring adjacent, needs to be based in Canada. You cannot be charging for your mentoring services, and engaging youth up to the age of 30. So when the training occurs and the onboarding, what that means is that your program and your organization would have access to the system. So once we onboard you, it is up to your program and your organization then to decide, how quickly you want to engage mentors and mentees, how quickly and how soon you would like to make the platform live for your programs. It really is up to you. So once we onboard you, there is no time restriction that you must have mentors and mentees in the system, within the first 6 weeks or within the first 2 months. Some programs might want to then build in your entire curriculum and really build out the system before launching it. Other programs might want to use it as a meeting place, first of all, and then continue to update and build in that content into the system. So it really is up to you as an organization, once we onboard you, when and how you would like to use it. Now, I know there was a whole bunch of questions in the question and answer, so I'm going to start to, do mentors and mentees have separate discussion boards? Michelle, I'm going to ask you that question. I don't know if they do, and I'm going to let you answer that.
If they have separate discussion boards?
Yeah.
It's up to the program administrator to decide if the discussion board will be for both mentors and mentees, just for mentees, or just for mentors. So that can be set up in the administrator backend of the system.
Okay, great. Thanks, Michelle. Are all the messages and videos between matches recorded and viewable by admins? Yes, absolutely. The question in the Q&A box was wanting to know if a program administrator could see all communication between mentors and mentees. And yes, that is absolutely a feature that exists within the system. We've had lots of discussion at the working group level. Some programs want that access and other programs do not. And so from an administrator, I know we are checking to see if we can turn some of that off for programs, but also as an administrator, you have the choice just not to go look as well. How are shared documents and photos monitored? So documents, you will need to think about that for your program. I don't know if you can actually monitor documents or photos within the system. I believe if they share them, it will be stored. So you would be able to go back and see those documents and the photos. It does have the language censoring. So your programs will be able to flag language that's being used or words within the system. And they have a whole plethora list, and then you can add more. So you can pick and choose and then add others. There's a couple of questions here. I'm just reading. So when mentors and mentees log into your program, they will only see the program to which they're connected. So they will not log into a generic MentorCity platform. They will log into your program. And so, for example, if it is, an after, the Tri-City after school mentoring program, when a mentor goes in or a mentee goes into the app or into the web-based browser, they will only see Tri-City after school mentoring program. They will not see any other program. They will not see a generic MentorCity platform. They will see your program with the Tri-City after school mentoring program logo, the images that you populate within the system that reflect your program, and colored branding. So you can tailor the platform to align with your color scheme for your programs. And so if you have multiple programs, only mentors that are connected to a specific program will see that program. They won't see another program, and they won't see that other branding or that experience. Mentor Canada has created onboarding for mentors and mentees. So we are creating videos, and we are creating a handbook and a PDF document that programs will be able to use to onboard their mentors and mentees. So that will be a key piece of the onboarding training, is that we're really training you as the trainer to engage your mentors as an administrator and your mentees. But we will create a full-fledged manual as well as video that you'll be able to share and facilitate with your mentors and mentees to be able to access the system. I'm just reading through a few other questions. Absolutely, post-secondary mentorship programs qualify. Again, the qualification is up to the age of 30 for mentees, and that you're not charging for that mentoring experience. So keep that in mind as a qualifier. If anyone has any further questions, we'll be happy to answer those as well around whether or not your program qualifies. With regards to the event registration, do events meetings need to take place in the platform or can they be held elsewhere? Absolutely. So my understanding is that it is an Eventbrite registration link. So it could even someday when we can be in person, if you're hosting an in-person event or there's an event in the community, they can still meet there. So it does not need to be a virtual meeting or a virtual event. It can be an in-person event, but what you'd be able to see is who's registered within the platform, right? And be able to see that statistical data. Yes, so any of the training courses and any of that content for your courses are very interactive. Michelle will walk you through that as well in onboarding. So you will be able to deliver content. You can link YouTube videos or other links to resources and video within your courses, as well as build in quizzes. So you'll be able to add in all of that interactive component and all of the imagery and colors and scheme that you want to include in your course content. So it really is completely customizable for your mentoring program and for your context. But yeah, absolutely. Video, photos, quizzes, it really is intended to be an interactive course. The survey piece, completely customizable. So for programs that want to touch base with their mentors and their mentees halfway through the mentoring relationship, you could then key in a survey that needs to be completed by month 6 if it's a year match. And you'd be able to see which of those individual constituents have completed it, and then the percentage that haven't as well. So you'll be able to see who's completing your surveys. And then for post-testing, there's an outcome survey. That outcome survey is only applicable at the very end of your mentoring relationships, but you can implement ongoing surveys throughout. I think I've answered most of the questions. Sorry, yes.
Quick question, maybe
Yeah.
Michelle, you can help with this. I was under the impression that we weren't able as program admins to see the video between mentors and mentees. Is that the case? You can see the messages, but not the video. I don't think the system saves the video.
They can jump on a live call at any time. So I think it's probably in that sense. Yeah, so
Okay.
if there's a call going on, a program administrator can decide to do a spot check and jump in.
Right. Okay. So just to be clear, it doesn't store the video of the call. I don't believe it does. So you couldn't review a communication over video or audio between a mentor and mentee after the fact. If there's an ongoing scheduled interaction, you can. And that is not the case though for messages. Messages are stored and you can review those. And there's also, as Tracy indicated earlier, the catch lists and filtering. So you'll get notified if anything any flagged content that you've identified is transmitted between mentor and mentee, and it'll be blocked awaiting your release.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Adrian. As far as cost for the system, so yes, so post March 2022, we are actively working on what does that look like. If for some reason Mentor Canada is not able to continue with supporting the system at no cost for you as a service provider, there would be a cost for service providers to continue to access that. But what we will do is we will be working with you actively and keeping you updated as far as what that looks like, as well as with MentorCity. So there was one question in the question and answer box around once you set everything up, how do you advertise, get youth to sign up for this? So that would be your communication within your program, emailing, however you communicate and continue to engage your youth and your mentors right now within your programs. So you would then share this information with them. They would get a direct link to the platform for your program, and they would be able to then onboard directly with you. So you'll be able to engage them individually. It does not need to be advertising through MentorCity or through Mentor Canada. Once you're onboarded, that really becomes your communication with your mentors and mentees.
There was a question by Ellie or Eli, I'm not sure, sorry, on integrations. There is the ability to integrate with the platform, you have to work directly with MentorCity to do that. I'm not sure what type of integration you're talking about, but generally those aren't programming language contingent, but rather the manner in which the interface is designed. So we can talk about that offline if you'd like to dig into it.
Perfect. There was a question if we have an information sheet. So we are working on a one-pager or a two-pager for the platform right now. What we will do is provide a PDF of this PowerPoint presentation. We also will be able to share and be using the recording of the session, so that will be posted on our website. We will also be sending out the security feature sheet for your reference and a link on how to connect to the e-mentoring platform and to Connector. So we will send out a whole host of resources and information for you following this session. And then we will be creating a two-pager overview of the system as well. It was priority for us. We know that the sector has been waiting a very long time, and we wanted to get this in front of you and for your organizations at this point to have the opportunity to really see it and to onboard as quickly or wait as long as you would like. So we will start this onboarding in June. We will continue to onboard for the course of the next year. We have currently scheduled onboarding sessions up until September, and then throughout the summer, we will continue to have live onboarding sessions and schedule those in. So if you choose not to onboard now, it is not that you will not have an opportunity to onboard in the future. If it's just not the right time and you want to take a little bit more time within your organization and maybe connect with us offline to determine whether this is a fit, happy to do that. There will be a time and a slot for you to onboard in the future. Some definition on a program admin. So that would be the administrator within your organization that would oversee your program. If you have multiple programs, you could have different program administrators by program. So if you offer 4 different mentoring programs, you can have administrators assigned to each of those. So that would be the person that oversees mentoring relationships, oversees the program, monitors and supports mentoring relationships, really does that hands-on frontline matching of mentors and mentees, but also some management of the program. I don't know if I have any other questions, and I know that we are exactly at time, so I'm going to hold off on the questions right now. If you have ongoing questions, please connect to Turi through our support at mentoringcanada.ca. Also very happy to connect with anyone. Our whole team is really thrilled to be able to offer this to the sector. It is a wonderful opportunity. If your organization would like to have some further conversation, please reach out to us and we will facilitate an ongoing meeting and discussion with each of you. So again, thank you for joining us today. We really do believe that this will have a huge impact on the sector, not only for mentors and mentees to engage, but also to build capacity in how you manage your programs and the ability to really have a hub to engage with your stakeholders and to have a fulsome platform for mentoring. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you soon. As I said, you will have the link to sign up for registration to onboard. We will send you out the PDF of this PowerPoint. There will be a recording of the session that will be up online, and we will also send you the PDF of the security feature sheet. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to onboarding you. Thanks so much.